faint rumble of the burn, swollen with melting snow, but not yet see it. In Afghanistan, they'd had their night vision goggles. Not here. Here, they had to rely on their own eyes and their instincts. She would stop, she decided. She would wait for him to come to her, as she knew he would. Her heart beat like a marching band, and her sweat mingled with the tang of wet birch as she awaited his arrival. As it was, she caught the stink of his body before she saw him. Then a shaft of moonlight escaped from behind the sleet-laden clouds to find his outline. Tall, broad, his body dense and tense. She knew what he would do when he reached her. Crow his success, look for his reward, take it. She knew real fear then, and longed to turn and run. Spinning suddenly, she took off again, denying him his prize. He gave a shout of anger. Despite her quick getaway, he would be on her soon. Now she could smell what he wanted, something she was unwilling to give. Chapter 2. The temperature had dropped again overnight. Rhona watched as her breath condensed above her. Then, pulling the cover over her head once more, rejoiced in the warmth below the duvet. It was, she decided, the coldest winter she'd ever experienced on Skye. Not that she had spent many winters here to judge. Summer had been her time for visiting as a teenager, apart from a week last November, just before the case that had called her to Sandy, one of Orkney's most northerly islands. Thinking about work stirred her properly awake. She had spent the time, since the Sin Eater case, blanking her mind of all things related to that subject. And, since work normally consumed her for most hours of the day, that had been a difficult thing to achieve, an impossible thing to achieve. So she had compensated by studying past unsolved cases she hadn't been involved in, together with new developments in the field of forensics. And she had spent time reading, working her way through every book she'd found in the cottage, before joining the travelling library and requesting more. She'd taken a daily swim until the weather had got too cold, even for her wetsuit. She'd climbed and walked and climbed, since Skye was a perfect place to do both. In all this endeavour to forget, she'd enlisted the help of Jamie McCall, who had shared her teenage summers on the island. Jamie had stayed behind to run the family undertakers, while Rhona had gone to Glasgow University, initially to study medicine, then switching to forensic science. A member of the local mountain rescue team, Jamie also knew the hills better than anyone, so was the perfect guide when she required one. He was also easy company, and they never discussed his work or hers, or even why she'd forsaken it. Throwing back the duvet, Rhona rose and, grabbing a jumper, went to check on the stove. Entering the sitting room, she found it still warm from the dying embers of the fire. Had she remembered to build it up with peat before falling into bed, the rest of the cottage would have been equally warm. Used to gas central heating in her Glasgow flat, and the instantly available fire in the sitting room, her biggest adjustment in coming here had been how to stay continuously warm. Only now did she fully appreciate the work involved in doing that. Rhona opened the stove and threw in some more wood, after which she headed for the kitchen. Filling the coffee machine, she then grabbed her coat, pulled on her boots, opened the back door and stepped outside. Despite having done this every morning since her arrival, the sight that met her never failed to fill her with wonder. This was why she'd come here, and this was what might save her. In the darkness of despair, in the blackness of her incarceration, this was the image she'd tried to remember when she closed her eyes. The tide was out, leaving glistening pools among the grey rocks. The sound of sleet was as calm as the sky above it, something that didn't happen very often. A blue sky belied the cold that sent a shiver through her body, although the distant peaks of the mainland told the truth, coated as they were in a white mantle.